Video footage can capture some of the most incredible moments in our lives, whether it's with family, pets, or during holiday travels. In today's image-conscious world, everyone wants to share something. However, sometimes not everything is as rosy as it first seems, and sometimes the truth behind the footage is unexpected and even disturbing. In this video, we will look at a variety of footage that initially shows seemingly ordinary people and places, but is actually hiding a tragic backstory. Let's dive in. But before we start, hit those lights, sit back, and enjoy. Just helping. At around 11:45 a.m. on Sunday, August 4th, 2002, Jessica Chapman left her home in Soham, Cambridgeshire, to walk the short distance to her best friend, Holly Wells' house to attend a barbecue. The two girls and their friend, Natalie Parr, later played computer games and listened to music before Parr left. Both girls then changed into Manchester United football shirts. This photo was taken of them at 5:04 p.m. that day. Around 6:15 p.m, the two girls left the Wells residence without telling anyone and purchased sweets from a vending machine at the local sports centre. As they returned home, they passed the home of school caretaker Ian Huntley. The girls didn't know him, but knew his girlfriend, Maxine Carr, as she was their teaching assistant at St Andrew's Primary School. At 8 p.m, Holly's mother, Nicola Wells, entered her daughter's bedroom to invite the girls to say goodbye to her guests, only to discover both children missing. She and her husband Kevin searched the house and nearby streets for the girls, and Nicola phoned the Chapmans to ask if the girls were there, only to learn Leslie and Sharon Chapman were also worried that Jessica had not returned home. Following frantic efforts by the families to locate their daughters, the girls were reported missing at 9:55 p.m. Police immediately launched an intensive search for the missing children, and a public appeal was made to help locate them. Several people came forward and were interviewed on camera, giving their accounts of what they'd seen. One of those was Ian Huntley, who gave several interviews to the press and became an unofficial spokesman for the community of Soham. Here is one interview he gave to Sky News.
Well, I don't know the girls. They just came across and asked how Miss Carr was, as she used to teach them at St Andrews, and they just said, please tell her that we're very sorry, and off they walked in the direction of the library over there.
His girlfriend, Maxine Carr, also gave interviews. Initially, people just believed the pair were helping with the frantic search for the girls. But in reality, at the time of these interviews, both Huntley and Carr knew the girls were dead. And if you listen to Maxine Carr, she is talking about them in the past tense. 13 days after Holly and Jessica went missing, their bodies were found, lying side by side in a 5-foot deep irrigation ditch, close to the perimeter fence of RAF Lakenheath in Suffolk, more than 10 miles from their homes in Soham. Ian and Maxine soon became suspects, and both were arrested on the 17th of August on suspicion of abduction and murder. Ultimately, Huntley was charged with their murders, and Carr was charged with 2 counts of assisting an offender and 1 count of perverting the course of justice. At trial, they were both found guilty. Huntley was sentenced to life imprisonment to serve a minimum of 40 years, and Carr was sentenced to 3.5 years for perverting the course of justice. She was found not guilty of assisting an offender. Huntley's motive for killing the children is unknown, and at the time of writing this, he is incarcerated at HMP Frankland in Durham and is known as one of the UK's most notorious living prisoners. Carr was released on the 14th of May 2004 after serving a total of 21 months. She was given a secret identity to protect her from the public and has been granted lifelong anonymity. Shortly after her release from prison, Carr and her family contacted a Tyneside-based publishing company with a view to publishing her autobiography. However, the move was blocked by scores of complaints from the public. Death Car. Trevor Heitman, better known online as McSkillet or OG McSkillet, was a popular Counter-Strike global offensive player and YouTuber. He was best known for owning a popular CSGO trading site, CSGO Magic, and for participating in CSGO's skin trading community. Many of his videos focused on skin trading, and he made a sizable profit from it. In case you are unfamiliar with Counter-Strike, It is a multiplayer tactical first-person shooter video game with the ability to customize and trade weapons owned by other players, using skin trading. Over the years, skin trading has evolved into a profitable business for some, and McSkillet was known as King of Skins. In December 2017, he uploaded a video to his YouTube channel showing his new McLaren. Take a look.
Yeah, this car is pretty damn insane. It's got a twin-turbo V8, so once the turbos kick in, you just have so much power, it's ridiculous. And if you're wondering how I was able to afford this car, well, at the time I bought it, my sources of income were just Skin.trade. I owned that site, and then sponsored CSGO gambling videos and then some other sponsorships of like GameFlip, but it was mainly Skin.trade because that site used to make a ton, and then I did make a pretty good amount.
However, things started going wrong for the 18-year-old when he received a trade ban from Valve, meaning he could no longer trade any of the items and weapons he kept in his inventory. His income decreased dramatically, and his presence on YouTube also dwindled. On August 23, 2018, less than a year after showing off his new car, Trevor drove the same car at 100 miles per hour on the wrong side of the road on the 805 highway in San Diego and collided head-on with a 2010 Hyundai SUV. The crash resulted in Trevor's death, as well as the occupants of the other vehicle, a 43-year-old mother and her 12-year-old daughter. 8 others were injured, and 8 other vehicles were involved in the crash. Investigations revealed that Trevor did not attempt to swerve before hitting the SUV, and the crash was a deliberate act. Toxicology tests did not detect any alcohol or common drugs in his system. His parents later claimed that a few days before the accident, Trevor had said he was having a meltdown. At the time of his death, it is thought McSkillet was still worth around $10 million, but he was known to be suffering with terrible mental health. There was an outpouring of grief from his fans, but Trevor also received a lot of backlash and condemnation because of the deaths of an innocent mother and her child. A fatal trip to the bathroom. October 22, 2013 started like any other day for 24-year-old maths teacher Colleen Ritzer, as she embarked on a full day of teaching at Danvers High School in Massachusetts. Colleen was known to go out of her way to help her students, and after classes ended that day, Colleen asked Philip Chisholm and another student to stay behind for some extra tuition. At around 3 p.m, Colleen left the classroom and headed to the restroom, leaving the 2 students in the room. CCTV caught her happily making her way to the restroom. Take a look. However, just seconds later, 14-year-old Chisholm can be seen with a hood over his head and pulling on gloves. Chisholm followed Colleen into the bathroom and slit her throat from behind. 11 minutes after killing Colleen, the other student opened the door but quickly hurried away, thinking they had walked in on someone getting changed. Chisholm then left the bathroom, returning later wearing different clothing and wheeling a green recycling bin. He was later seen dragging the bin out of the school and along the street. He later returned to the school and changed his clothes again. When Chisholm didn't return home, a missing persons report was made by his parents. Colleen was also reported missing. Shortly after midnight, Chisholm was spotted by police walking on a highway. The police officer who searched him found a box cutter and asked him where the blood on it came from. He answered, the girl. Hours later, police searched the woods near the high school and found Colleen's body under some leaves. Chisholm was charged as an adult with murder and with aggravated rape and robbery as a juvenile offender. He was sentenced to serve at least 40 years in prison. He has never offered any motive for the senseless killing. Chalino Sanchez's death note. Chalino Sanchez was a Mexican singer-songwriter, considered one of the most influential narco-corrido singers of the late 20th century. He was a pioneer in Mexican music and composed songs for prisoners who had stories they wanted to tell in ballads. Chalino also composed and sang romantic and radio-friendly songs. On the 15th of May 1992, during a performance at the Salon Bugambilias in Culiacan, Chalino was handed a note from someone in the crowd After reading the contents, Chalino crumpled up the note before carrying on singing as if nothing happened. To the audience, it just looked like he had been passed a note, either from his crew or a fan. After the show finished around midnight, Chalino left with his 2 brothers, a cousin, and several young women, and drove off into the night. En route, they were pulled over by a group of armed men in black Chevrolet Suburbans. They showed state police ID cards and told Chalino their commander wanted to see him. Chalino, believing they were legit, agreed and got into their car. The following day at 6 in the morning, 2 farmers found Chalino's body by an irrigation canal near Highway 15, near the neighborhood of Los Laureles, Culiacan. He was blindfolded and his wrists had rope marks. He had been shot in the back of the head twice. The note he was handed, whilst on stage, is commonly believed to have been a death threat, whereby he would be killed after the song. Sadly, that threat was carried out. No one has ever been held responsible for his murder. Van life. Gabrielle Petito was born and raised in Blue Point, New York. In 2017, she graduated from Bayport Blue Point High School, where she met Brian Christopher Laundrie. The pair began dating in March 2019, and soon after Gabby moved in with him and his parents in Northport, Florida. In late 2019, early 2020, the couple went on a cross-country trip from New York to California, and a few months after Gabby's 21st birthday, the pair got engaged. In December 2020, they purchased a 2012 Ford Transit Connect van that had been converted into a camper in anticipation of another road trip. The couple took on odd jobs to finance the trip, and Petito shared her life and travels on social media platforms, such as YouTube and Instagram, documenting her and Brian's van life adventures. Take a look at some of their travels. To the outside world, it looked like Gabby and Brian had the perfect life, a young couple in love following their travel dreams. However, with lots of things on social media, things were not what they seemed and their life was far from perfect. On August 12, 2021, a witness called 911 to report a couple, later identified as Brian and Gabby, having a physical fight in front of the Moonflower Community Cooperative in Moab, Utah. Officers from the Moab City Police Department later identified the couple's van driving erratically near the entrance to Arches National Park and conducted a traffic stop. They found Petito crying uncontrollably in the passenger seat. Take a look at the police body camera footage of the stop.
My vibe is like, I am like in a bad mood. And I was just saying, I'm sorry if I'm in a bad mood. I've just been really stressed. I had so much work I was doing on my computer this morning.
So, tell me what's going on. She just gets worked up sometimes, and I try and really distance myself from her, so like I lock the car and I walk away from her. What happened this morning is that she's trying to start up like her own little website blog and everything, so I give her time. We really had a nice morning if anything, but she just got worked up because we were trying to get going and get her.
Gabby played down the incident, saying she and Brian had got into a fight. Neither she nor Brian wanted to press charges, and the police chalked it down as a mental breakdown rather than domestic violence. They did, however, separate the couple, arranging for Brian to spend a night at a hotel and for Gabby to stay in the van. On August 17th, Brian took a flight from Salt Lake City to Tampa, Florida, leaving Petito alone at a hotel near Salt Lake City International Airport. On August 24th, Gabby checked out of the hotel and rejoined Brian, and they continued their trip. On August 25th, Gabby posted photos on her Instagram, taken in front of a butterfly mural outside a restaurant in Ogden, Utah. This was the last thing Gabby would ever post. The couple were captured on CCTV at a Whole Foods store in Jackson, Wyoming, and were later seen driving on Highway 89. Several people witnessed the couple arguing. On August 27th, a text from Gabby's phone to her mother read, "Can you help Stan? I just keep getting his voicemails and missed calls." The message raised concerns for her mother, who said that Stan was Gabby's grandfather and that she never referred to him by his first name. On August 30th, she received another message that simply said, "No service in Yosemite." She was convinced these messages were not sent by her daughter. On September 1st, Brian returned alone to his parents' house in the Ford Transit. On September 11th, after not hearing from Gabby for several days, her mother reported her missing, and 4 days later, 23-year-old Brian was named as a person of interest. His parents hired a lawyer and refused to talk to anyone about the case. Sadly, on September 19th, Gabby's remains were found at the Spread Creek dispersed camping area in Wyoming. She had blunt force injuries to her head and neck and had been manually strangled. A month later, on October 20th, Brian's skeletal remains were found in the Miakahatchee Creek Environmental Park. His cause of death was later attributed to a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. A notebook written by Brian contained an entry in which he admitted to killing Gabby and deceiving people that she was still alive via text messages. He claimed that he killed Gabby after she had fallen and injured herself, saying, "I thought it was merciful that it is what she wanted." The note ended with his plans for suicide, a tragic end to 2 young lives. So that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. We hope these didn't disturb you too much, and we'll see you soon for another video.